So what is exactly that you do, man?
Yeah, so it's long form body work, and it came from my field beginning as a chiropractor. Quickly, what I began to see was just shifting joints and shifting the bones was like a fraction of what is needed when I was looking to heal people of concussions and help people heal from injuries, but especially the way that my integrative airway and feeding chiropractic birth was, again, the puns, when my daughter was born almost eight years ago.
Integrative airway and feeding was birthed.
Birthed.
Got it. Okay.
That's right.
I'm tracking.
So daughter was born, Serenity was born with a tongue tie.
That's
that
your
means
daughter's name, Serenity?
Serenity.
All right.
Yes, Serenity's my daughter. Middle one is Cypress, and then the littlest is Zephyr. Wife Dawn. We co-labored to come up with their names, but she's the only one that birthed them. She's the one that went through the labor. So yeah, what the quick version of it is, baby's born, Serenity, born at home at a birth pool, came out of the water.
An actual pool,
in
like
a
a water
pool,
birth.
Like a water birth. For all three, they were born in the water. And but she, when she was born, quickly the midwife said, "Your daughter has a tongue tie." And we're like, "What is that?" And it's when
my kids didn't know what a tongue tie either. I was trying to explain to them upstairs.
Yeah.
But how do you explain it?
So when the tongue has the connective tissue underneath it that is too tight, it's called a frenum. When that frenum is too much tissue and too tight, the tongue can't lift, and that's a tongue tie. When the tongue can't lift, that means the baby can't feed well. Painful breastfeeding for mom. And then often if there's a lip tie, that's the frenum is too tight under the lip. And if there are cheek ties, there's 7 potential frena that can get restricted.
How common is that?
Used to be 2% of people was the stat, but it's like 50% of people.
Wait, well, why would it be going up like that?
One, the lack of recognition of what's existed. And then, so I see a lot of cases that are missed because they don't get properly assessed, diagnosed. Because there's a very obvious tongue tie where the frenum goes to the tip of the tongue. You can see it clear as day. Now, there's a posterior tongue tie where the frenum only goes halfway, and it doesn't even look like a restriction. But by the thousands of patients that I've seen since our daughter was born with a tongue tie, I've seen 70 data points on the body that are fascially bound in a twist pattern that go along with tongue tie. So sometimes people come in having seen 4 experts, and they're like, no tongue tie. But I'm like, yeah, but your baby's having trouble nursing, or kids having trouble speaking, or adults having trouble pooping, whatever it is, there's tons of related things. And I see these 70 data points going on. Right sphenoid's misaligned, there's cranials, there's a right kidney's misaligned, there's the right foot, the talus is misaligned in the ankle. It's all this stuff that I see now. And if I can see that, then I can trace it back and I can see, oh yeah, the back of the tongue does not move as it should.
Well, when I hear stuff like that, I think, well, gosh, there's either 2 things going on here. Number one, some kind of an evolutionary or ancestral mechanism that confers protection against something else if you have all these tongue ties and lip ties and whatnot going on, or B, something that we're doing now that we didn't used to do either nutritionally or electrically or something that would be causing that to occur at a greater rate, because the body usually doesn't just like get born broken like that in a normal scenario.
Yeah, 4 or 5 weeks in utero are when these ties form. By the 11th week, there's a chance for them to cleave. However, you came from your mom, but the egg that made you came from when your mom was in your grandma's tummy. So that's when it starts. We talk generations, but MTHFR and all the other methylation issues. There's pathogens, toxicities where that triggers, and often there's a correlation with those things.
Do you think it could be environmental based?
Totally. There's pesticide toxicity that's on the rise, from DDT, and there's found in alligators in, Florida. But I see a lot of cases where we're talking, attention, focus, ADHD, brain issues, and methylation issues, parasites. It's all like this.
Is that because a mutation could occur embryologically that would then cause some of these malalignments that you're talking about?
2 things there. I think it goes back generationally, so we're talking emotions can trigger it, trauma can trigger it, but toxins can trigger it. But then at that 4 or 5 weeks in utero, what happens is the diaphragm, which starts in the throat, that's where it starts in formation. By the 6th week, it descends to the thoracic cage. By the 8th week, the diaphragm ends in the belly where it is. So it pulls the fascia and it restricts it because it's so tethered. It's so tight to the floor of the mouth muscles. And I go into this in detail in some of my courses.
It's crazy, by the way, because I field dress animals when I hunt, and the diaphragm's connected to, it seems like, everything when you get into the gut.
Totally, because that fascia is a web of connectivity, and there's no separation. We separate it when we look at our bodies because we think we need to break apart these things, but fascia is beautiful, and it's this interconnectivity web. And yeah, so the tongue tie, they're separate. But what I focus on is I'm not a surgical provider. I collaborate with leading ones. But what I do, people come into me because they're like, how? Either their baby's struggling with latching, feeding, or speech, or adults, or whatever. And so my goal is, okay, you came in. Let me see if I can differentially diagnose what's going on in your regulatory system, free that vagal tone, and how can I problem solve what's in that 70 data point tongue tie or airway map that I created? What area is pulling on the floor of the mouth? And if I can extricate that with body work or purple light therapy or frequency therapy, or any of those things, or working in the mouth, working in the nostrils, then the tongue can loosen, the floor of the mouth can drop in tension. It's an oral diaphragm, so it's like this functional capacitor where the tongue can lift and so many symptoms can change. So even though I can't change the existence of ties, I can see radical shift in symptoms by what I created with body work.
How did you map all that out? I mean, is this like dropping acid and looking at an anatomy book and coming up with these ideas, or how does somebody think like that?
It's like systems thinking, pattern recognition. I've always loved that, but intuition, downloads, empathic. I feel what people feel. So when babies come in, I can feel what's in the room, and I can see what's happening, and I can feel their kidneys out of alignment, but I confirm it with palpation, and I confirm it with release. And when it changes their tension, that proves to me that it actually helps. So I've seen like thousands of patients now where I've looked at, and I've done this intraoral and whole body inspection, and then categorically put these data points in. And I've seen patients, not only of mine, but in the Bay Area and in LA, of renowned people who work with tongue ties. So I've been able to see like the most complex cases, and I see this pattern time and time and time again. There's some variables here, like phenotypes that I've identified, but that's going down a rabbit hole. But it's like always the right kidney, always the diaphragm on the right. Got to release that.
Right kidney, right diaphragm. You have
Yes.
to release that.
Loosen up
What's that
by
mean?
myofascial release.
Okay.
Body work, sometimes deep tissue.
Sounds like it hurt. Did you work on the organs?
We can do deep tissue on the muscle and the fascia without putting pressure into the organs. And so usually I'm very gentle with the organs. And it's a very subtle releasing. But when we get into like those deep fascial planes in the gastroc, like the calf muscle. So I have like top 5 postural compensations of tongue tie. It's that soleus. Almost always in the calf muscles are restricted. People with tongue tie almost always can't touch their toes. Hamstrings too tight. So I look at those things, and I work on all those fascial areas in a deep way. But here's the beautiful thing. I used to do that. I used to tirelessly work on that subscap, those, axillary regions, dig, until I figured out, wait a minute, if I go back and forth between the mouth or the organs and the feet, I can loosen tension here in this oral diaphragm, and then there's this systemic release up in the head and down the body. So what I used to spend 20 minutes of working on the pecs and the subscap and the teres and working all through these intercostal muscles, it's like 2 minutes to 3 minutes because I released that sequence.
Way.
The syntax.
That's crazy. Okay.
So it's like the syntax of body work is the most important thing. And if you don't know about the nostrils, which John Laurence, I love his system out there.
Dr. John Laurence, he does the intranasal adjustment, like a chiropractic adjustment for your skull. You do that?
He uses the balloon. I use my finger, and I use unwinding to shift all the cranials while I'm doing it so that I can get a manual. I love John. We talk, and I've talked to him, and I love his approach and all the other endonasal ballooning techniques.
Yeah.
But what I love is the manual work to release it at an intricate, customized level, because sometimes I'm working on somebody and their nostril won't open, right?
Yeah.
So then I have to release their right toe. And as soon as I do that, their ethmoid releases, their lacrimal bone, nasal bone, and then I can get into that nostril and widen it. And sometimes that's the airway issue that they're dealing with. Then the mouth releases, and then this crazy stream through the body. So the cool thing is that it's not the same for everybody. So it takes a lot of meticulous inspection, which is what we're going to do tonight. I'm going to meticulously analyze what you have going on and categorize it in the analysis. and then gently work into areas so we
Yeah.
can test the theories.
Yeah,
And then when we
I
get
got
to
a
the
lot
actual
going on,
body
bro.
work,
You
we'll
got
see
your
what
work cut out for you.
opens up.
Have you ever heard of the human garage? Because I went
Yeah,
there before, and they
totally.
actually went in through my mouth, and they
Yes.
had white gloves on or the latex
Totally.
gloves, and I don't know if they're latex or what, but they did all the work inside the mouth. It was kind of uncomfortable,
Right.
but it changed my neck and my
Yes.
knees and my back. And so
Yes.
when you say something like a kidney out or a diaphragm and the fascia there, even the fascia of the big toe being connected to the fascia on the floor of the mouth, that's actually a thing, huh?
It's so a thing that now I train birth workers, body workers, chiropractors, osteopaths, because they've been working in the mouth for a while, and so have I. But this map doesn't exist until now. I'm putting it out there, and so even if we work in the mouth, this is why my course is called Floor to the Mouth Interconnectivity Unveiled, and it's like a deep dive into breaking down systematically what therapists can do to maximize their effect, to not have to go through all those sessions, because some people, we can work in the mouth, work in the nose, but we don't see that systemic change last. And so I look at what's like this, is you love this. What's the differential diagnosis of why is that nostril not releasing? Because there's a sensory issue. Like this 11-year-old, he was scheduled for a tongue tie release, came in. I get sent all the cases like that. And they're like, he just can't move his tongue. As soon as I had him smell frankincense, at the same time as evaluating his tongue stiffened. Smell, sensory processing disorder, it was the issue. So when he smells, he can't use his tongue. That's a common thing, yet it's hard to identify. So what I did is I took violet laser, and I used it intranasally and intrapalatally just to stimulate his brain.
Like an intranasal light therapy?
Yes.
I've done that before.
Yeah, and it's purple light is vagal tone, sunset,
Yeah, I've used
right?
red light, not purple light.
And I love red, and I have red, but the cool thing about purple is purple mimics the sunset, and that's when we rest, digest, right?
Interesting.
Red is good for energizing,
Yeah.
healing, and it's like a exciting, sympathetic healing
Yeah.
response. But if you want like that vagal rest and digest melting,
That's
purple
kind
light.
of funny because I go to my sauna sometimes at night. It's got the chromotherapy in there, and
Yeah.
I always naturally select purple.
Oh,
I like that
I
even
love
more than red at night,
Just
but I didn't even
intuitively.
realize that I was following my ancestral intuition
That's right.
doing that. That's interesting.
So
and
the-
so
the-
this
Go for it.
course that you have, you said it's called the flow. What?
Floor
The floor.
floor of the mouth.
Floor of the mouth, and that's something people like practitioners would do that through your website.
That they can hop on through the links and check out. It's a 6-week course starting July 17th, and
Okay.
I teach on it, and I've taught on it for years. But now I put it into like a master class, and it's live 90-minute weekly Zooms, and then I do some one-on-one mentoring. I have body workers come in if they want extra training, so I can show them. Here's what it looks like when you unlock this on patients all day. And so if they can do that, they can figure out how to optimize not only their body work for people, but prepare them if they're going to get a tongue tie release.
My chiropractor down the street.
Yeah.
What else do people need to know before we do some show and tell here?
So I would say the last thing that I think, here's what I'm excited is the dam was a beautiful place to go, because my analogy that I'm creating, the dam, Spokane Dam, right? Spokane Falls.
yeah.
Beautiful to go to, because I use this analogy. I have this great graphic that the floor of the mouth is a dam. It's this pressure release valve to when we unlock the tightness there, the tongue can move, and then water can flow. We have this hydroelectric hydropower. So the tongue, I call it the ultimate biohack to freeing tension in the body. So I've created a course where people can take it, hop on, 5 videos, PDF, and I teach people at home, not body workers, because I love teaching them, but I want this to be for everybody. You follow this course, you take it, and then you learn how to unlock your tongue tension. And through that, it's called tongue press. I created this move called tongue press, but it's an intricate movement, but easy to follow. I have patients do it 1 to 2 times a day. And if you do that, you can actually do an at-home version of the intricate body work that I figured out. So in one way, I'm going to show that to you because it's just part of my normal protocol.
Yeah.
But I also want people to check that out. So I'd love for that to be something where people can go and follow this at home, and they can do it. Now, not only can this is good and it's important for what we're talking about. Not only can people do this, they can teach their kids how to do it. And then for babies, you can't grab their tongue and move it around. Body work is really intricate, and so that's a delicate thing. So I teach parents how to do body work on their babies. All parents who come in, I teach them, here's what you can do at home. But what people can do is that if you demonstrate to your baby what you do with your tongue, mirror neuronally, their brain does the same movement.
Yeah.
So they can actually they start moving their tongues.
Huh.
The baby starts moving their tongues more. I teach moms how to do this because that dyad of connectivity is so important right after baby's born. So I think my through line message there is my goal is at this point, after doing all these sessions on all these thousands of people, training people, I'm like, I really want this to be a household practice that people can do, because people can't get to me. I have people fly in to come to me and train with me, and I'm like, I can't get to everybody. What's that?
Redding, California, right? That's where
yeah. They come to Redding, California, or I have a Bay Area place that I practice out of, and then I'll be in LA doing monthly visits starting next month as well. So it's good. So I have some really cool things where people can experience embryology, which is the long form bodywork series that we're going to do tonight. It's going to be a really solid sample of it. The full unfolding is 9 sessions, 9 series, and people can come do it on site, or I fly to them and I can do a container where I come and I do 2 days where we do 3 sessions, or we can do a 9-month process where I come out once every 3 months and we do all 9 sessions, and I curate. I say bring your own BYOB, bring your own body worker, so that I can train the body worker how to work on them in between.
Yeah.
And it's basically like a container.
That's good. So their own person locally can learn what you're doing. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Tongue pressing. You have a lot of people with swole tongues out there after they watch this. All right, cool, man. Well, should we demo some stuff?
Feels like a good time.
All right, let's do it. I'm all yours.
All right. So yeah, I'm gonna do what I do, which is explain what I'm finding as I'm finding it. And what I like to tell people is, I'm gonna explain things, and this is gonna be good because we're gonna really find out. When I say what's going on, you can you'd be like, oh, I feel that. But also, if you want me to talk more, you just ask me questions. If you want me to still for a moment, to be still and know that you are Ben, and just want silence for a minute, just tell me that. I'll try to tune into that also. So what I'm feeling is your cranial tension. You've got some cranial restrictions, tight fascia on the head bones. Really specifically, if you can feel, you can flex all day at the sphenoid, but you can't extend there one bit. You feel that? So you can extend on the right, on the left side. You can extend a little bit, but the right side, nuh-uh.
Yeah.
That sphenoid is anteroflexed, and there's a lot more to that. But the sphenoid often can have control over the pituitary gland.
Oh wow.
Which is the master hormone gland, as you know. So also then we're gonna sink down. We're gonna check the parietal bones, and you can feel how this left side glides. The right side, not so much.
Yeah.
Right. And then if I check your occiput, the shelf of the skull, the master cranial bone, it is not easy to pull you into this extension, and it should, right? This should glide, and it doesn't.
Now, is all this stuff kind of typical?
This is, I see it a lot, but it's definitely, it's not uncommon, but it's not ideal, right? It's not normal in one way. It's a lot of tension you have up here. So when I try to pull that occiput out of its anterior flexion, it doesn't want to do it. So you got that right occiput misaligned, right? Your left side you can tip, okay, but the right, no. So the right-sided tension. So then I get to atlas, right? C1. Ooh, it's tense on both sides, and if anything, it's more there. So we'll get to that because there's a lot of nuance to that atlas, that C1.
Yeah. Well, I pretend to be Atlas and carry the world, remember?
You carry the world on your shoulders,
lyrics
right?
of the song we were talking about.
That's right.
Cover it all.
Cover it all. And it's pretty good rotation to your left. So
Thank you.
It's lateral flexion that way. That's an issue. You can go this way all day, right? That's easy. The lateral flexion to the right, not easy. C2, C1, occiput makes the upper cervical complex, and that's where the brain stem is. And the spinal cord is the biggest, yet the opening is the smallest. So then you have this compression that where the brain can talk to the body through all the nerves is a little harder for you. So we're going to open up that brain stem function with some good fascial work, because what I know already without feeling is these tight SCMs, right? Tight scalenes, especially there in the right side.
Yeah.
We'll get down to the hyoid bone. So now it's subtle on you because it's a deeper restriction. But the hyoid, if you're familiar with it, is the throat bone, right?
Yeah.
And you feel your left one, the left side, easy movement.
Yeah.
Now, if we get to the right side, it's tender.
Not so much,
And you can feel not so much, right?
Yeah.
So the throat bone doesn't move as well, and there's a whole lot of reasons why that's relevant. But
interesting.
We'll get to that. And it's often the hyoid, when it's restricted, it pulls that C2 out of alignment, and the C1 and the occiput. And it's that throat bone that needs to be released to get the neck to finally hold. Then we have, Your trapezius is not too bad up here. I'm surprised.
Thank you, good sir.
You know, I like to compliment traps whenever I meet them.
Yeah.
But as we can see, the lower attachment of your upper trap, tough, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough one right there. So we're going to work on that. But then now you feel this side, you actually have pretty good flexion, right? You can tip your head pretty far down.
Yeah.
Now, the difference here is that when you go up into the right, you've got the atlas not moving well on the occiput, but the SCM, yeah, it's tight going into that clavicle, but the SCM is sternocleidomastoid, so it goes from the sternum and the clavicle up.
When I turn my head up and to the right like that, it's super tight right there.
Okay, we're going to get there. That's like your T2. So then if you go here, now you can feel how rigid that SCM is, right? Yeah. And that's why that clavicle is misaligned.
Wow.
So we're going to work on all of that, definitely.
You're already figuring me out.
And yeah, you've got some pretty good humeral motion. You got a good sense of humerus.
Yep.
And then
I can humorally rotate with the best of them.
That's right. And then we're just going to get this arm, and we're going to do the same thing. Now you can feel that. This humeral head is jammed inferior, right? It's not moving up, so we got to free that up. And then your external rotation is really good on this side, too. So that's awesome. Yeah. Better than most.
So that's swimming and tennis and pickleball.
That's so good. Yeah, and we're going to come back to some of these areas, but we're going to check out that extension. Yeah, we can feel the triceps pretty tight in there, but this brachioradialis is fired up. Look what's happening to your fingers. It's flexing them. That's how these tight cords of tension are. Radius, capitate, bunch of these bones are misaligned. Yeah. So we'll get to that.
Wow. Great.
And then there's some good things we'll do with that. Cold. Are your fingers pretty cold?
They are right now, yeah.
Are they usually?
Not usually, no. I mean, it's a little cold down here. I did jump in the cold pool at about 5 p.m.
Okay, and so which is so many benefits, but does it typically they remain cold for a while afterwards?
Tough to say.
Okay.
No. So but I am told sometimes I have cold hands and feet.
Yeah, well, this retinaculum, when it's that restricted and when
you think so? Apex blood flow to that area?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So we'll work on that. And let's see this arm. Yeah, similar. I can already feel this tension right there. So similar, right? Now we'll get to this on the table, but right away I can tell that you have a really tight medial bicep.
Okay.
Like right there.
Okay.
Right. So that's hand.
Interesting.
So we'll do that. But the nature of these fascial restrictions, it just makes sense that it would be that way. And so not only is your extension limited here, but your flexion, right? So then you have limitation on extension and flexion. Now that's like where you have it's a need for more mobility there.
It's going to be a bitch for the pickleball serve.
We'll get that. So now, let's check a few more of these cranial bones out. Okay. So I'm going to check the frontal bone. That moves pretty well, but I can already tell, see right there, that nasal bone, not moving well right there. Mm-hmm. And then your lacrimal bones, this one's tighter than this, right? Okay. And then your ethmoid already, you can feel easy, not easy, right? Yeah. And then your zygomatic bone, that right one's pretty restricted. Yep. Right? So we'll get to more of that on the table. We're also going to check just gently here into your thyroid alignment. And you have tighter cricothyroid fascia on your left side. And then the parathyroid gland's moving well. So we'll get to the thyroid on the table because that'll be relevant too.
It's crazy how fast you can assess that stuff.
But let's now what I'm going to do, I'm going to get you to sit right here facing that way.
Okay.
So bottom here facing that way.
Okay.
Then we'll get you lying face down for the rest. So we're going to go through C7. Yeah, we can feel that misalignment there. Yeah. Right?
That feels funky.
Yeah, and that's nerve flow to your shoulders all the way down to the fingertips. So there's an aspect there that could be playing its part. And oh boy, you mentioned it right in there that that could be your T2 rib. Yeah. And these, rhomboids are fired up. More on that left side, but they're both both an issue. An unusual amount of misalignments in a row, but that's pretty indicative when there's a lot of myofascial restrictions because it's really that's the scaffolding of our alignment.
I use my body.
You use it, yeah.
A lot.
All right, well, let's get you face down. Let me put this paper down.
Face down?
We're going to go face down, and then get your face there, see if it's comfortable, and then you can put your arms right on that. So, yeah, we're going to get you all comfortable here. Just do a little bit of getting you to settle into the table. Now, I think you're doing a pretty good job relaxing, but what I want you to do is just kind of let your body sink into the table, into the ground. Just let your whole body come to a state of rest on the table so that you can just not hold your body, if you know what I mean. So we're going to check flexion there. Okay. Yeah, your left leg's shorter than the right. You've probably been told that a bunch, right? Left pelvis is hiked up anterior.
I don't even remember.
Okay.
That sounds familiar, yeah.
Left, you got left glute and piriformis tightness. Whew. Definitely a lot of hamstring tension. So yeah, let's check this flexion out. Yeah, you feel that? Mm-hmm. That's your soleus, right? Soleus and gastroc. That's right. Yep. I see the clues, Ben. I see we're going to do some grand intraoral work. I see so many data points here that are indicating you have mouth tension. I mean, it's clear as day. So hopefully this is going to be a really expansive, free, because your tibia.
I got a loose mouth. I don't know.
your tibia is anterior, fibula is posterior, so we got to adjust your ankles, definitely. And then yeah, you got some arch bone misalignments, and I know it was the left toe, right?
The left toe's pretty jacked, yeah.
Okay.
The left toe's kind of.
Okay.
I didn't notice it's like got a little bit like a metatarsal shift in
Did you hurt it doing anything?
Oh my gosh, I've hurt every joint in the body.
Okay.
That left toe, I've done a lot of kind of like some in Spartan racing primarily, like stepping on rocks and stuff during races and having to run like 10 miles on it. And I just noticed the big toes become more an issue over the past few years.
Yeah, and I can see that attempt, right?
Yeah.
For that big toe to migrate medially.
Yeah.
And so we got that attempt of a bunion, which we can, and I can feel the inflammation. Okay, well, we'll get into that. There's definitely a good amount of inflammation in the, plantar surface of your foot, and then specifically in here. So I'm going to evaluate it more when we get you on your back to see what else we can shift for that. But all right, so next up, I'm going to be just, you relax. I'm going to lift your hip to see what the hip muscles, flexors are doing. And then I would say we'll feel under that right rib cage. And boy, right there is a lot of tension on your QL muscle. All right, and then, yeah, it's good. Getting your body a little warmed up for more what we'll do. We'll check the left hip out from this side too. Yeah, definitely some left psoas tightness as well. Not nearly as tight here in the QL, so that's good news. Okay, well, yeah, so then I'm going to come up and check. So I'm going to take your arm here and check your scapula. There we go. Yeah. So that rotation's really good, but you can feel it, yeah, right underneath there. Subscap and that on that left side. Okay, so we'll get to that, but let's put your arm back there. You can rest it. There we go. All right, so then we'll check this right one. And here's the clavicle that I know, right there is stuck. Okay. And you know what? It's pulling your scapula anteriorly like this. So even though we need to shift the scapula, it's not going to be fruitful until we free that restriction on the front. So we'll get back to that. We'll check a few more things. Yeah, definitely. Okay. All right, Ben. Next up, I'm going to get you to turn over on your back. I'll help you here rotate so you don't slide you off. This table's nice for travel. My table back of the office is wide, but right now I'm shifting into a little bit of craniosacral fascial therapy. Mm-hmm. And even though my own system is like what I'm using, I really have appreciated like pulling from the palette, so to speak, of a lot of other wonderful people who have created systems too. And so just looking to see where there is fascia in your body that needs to unwind. So we're going to test out your adduction and abduction. Now here, is it okay to feel up to your pubic bone with these adductors?
I don't care. Yeah.
Yeah, you can feel how that right there. Whew, adductors and hamstrings, like cables, and yeah, all the way up to the pubic bone. There's a lot of tension in there. We'll get to that. Let's check on. Oh yeah, that patella is out of alignment. So your patella is superior, right? So that vastus lateralis attaches to that suprapatellar tendon, is pulling that patella out of alignment.
Interesting.
So we need to help that. And boy, yeah, you can feel what we do here is this medial movement's too much. It's jammed when we go that way. Yeah. So that medial collateral ligament is just too lax.
Yeah, I can feel that.
But it's because of the patella out of alignment and the hamstring tension. But you're going to feel that lateral gastroc. Woo, lit up. So we'll work on that. And then, yeah, right here, this patella is too posterior, the fibula is posterior, the heel stuck, the calcaneus, this first metatarsal is out of alignment. That's probably the kinetic chain issue you have going on, is all of this is pulling.
Yeah.
And then
that's kind of what I hypothesized, yeah.
You probably figured it out, right?
So you're saying I'm perfect, Doc.
I'm saying you are a specimen.
Everything's perfect.
You're beautifully and wonderfully made. So, you know, I honestly say I'm pointing out a lot of things, but I'm like narrowing in on the things that I need to shift.
Yeah.
Just know on the other side of it, we're going to unravel and integrate you, put you back together here, better than ever.
A little bit of order and entropy.
That's right.
Yeah.
So now we're going to check out this right adductor.
Okay.
And yeah, you're going to find this left side comes up to allow for it. Yeah. So definitely tighter right adductors.
Yeah.
And you can feel that. That is rigid.
Yeah.
So this is part of the map. 70 data points. The right adductor is always tighter than the left side.
Wow.
So I definitely think we're going to be doing some, woo, oh boy. So here you got your tissues move, right? They glide. Here, it's a wall, right? I don't have to, I can force it, but I won't. But right there, you have a lot of tension on that quad, especially that lateral side. So that is all part of the pattern. But I'm going to see what this patella is doing. And so the good thing is this patella glides. We have good motion there. And then we have good lateral motion there. Yeah, so this knee joint is in better alignment, which is nice. But, oh man, yeah, we got to free up that gastroc. So those are some plates of fascial tension going on right in there. Okay. So then, yeah, we have this tibia's anterior out of alignment, fibula is really posterior, and then you've got, this navicular and cuboid, just a bunch of ankle bones out of alignment and first metatarsal. So we'll restructure your feet, so you'll be walking like a whole new man.
Yeah.
All right, next up, let's get you to raise your arms. This will be a bit of a stretch.
Okay.
And also checking out shoulder alignment and tension. So that right arm's a little longer than the left, which we know it's not your arm. It's just indicating your C7 misalignment, but also that scapular issue. So now you can go ahead and put your arms down.
Okay.
Now we're going to get into checking out your cranials. And I love to check positionally because you know how you sit, gravity pulls. When you lie supine, gravity pulls. All the other postures, gravity interacts different ways. You've got some tension there, but the dural tube tension, this really ends at L4, but now we got to go up and check upstream of the occiput. And then I'm going to check into the sphenoid, the mandible. They're
15.
15. There's one diaphragm. We all know that one.
Yeah.
But altogether there's 15 because functionally they're points where the body has flow, interstitial fluid. And so maybe let me get you to slide up just an inch or two.
Okay. This way?
Up to me.
Oh, up to you. Okay.
That's great.
Okay.
Good. So now if we check your nasal bone, you actually feel it's better here than it was sitting. Okay. And it's better here on your zygomatic bone. So definitely lying supine takes some of the strain of gravity on your body, but gravity is our friend. And so part of embryology, my work is to see how we can line up your axes of the center of gravity in your body so that you can flow more effortlessly with gravity. And that's going to be a really good thing for you because, boy, it's dragging you down, Ben. Especially right here, right? you can feel how we need to free that that clavicle.
Feel the difference there.
So then next up, we're going to go down, recheck the parathyroid. The thyroid actually frees up some in this position, which is nice. Then I'm going to use a little bit of muscle testing and just feeling into the body to test your upper esophageal valve. That is pretty good. And we're going to check your lower esophageal. You feel that tension, right? Lower esophageal valve is restricted, right? So then stomach, good. But then we get to the diaphragm and we can feel that right-sided tension versus the left.
Yep.
Right? Remember what I said about the diaphragm?
Yep.
Right side. So it's not always that on everybody, but you know, for you it seems to be true.
Yeah.
Small intestine is okay.
With the liver on the right side, though.
What's that?
Liver's on the right side.
Yeah, so I definitely check into that, right? So I'll see, is the liver restricted? No. Is the gallbladder? No. But that right kidney is. And so I'll get to that left kidney, good. And then the colon, you've got, for sure, the ileocecal valve is fine on the right, but you can feel this, right? That little gas bubble. So that's your sigmoid colon. It's like a hairpin turn for the colon.
Yeah.
That can obviously often be fascially bound. So we'll get to that, but let's come back up here and see. We'll test into upper lungs, lower lungs, thymus gland, good. So we're going to check and see if I can feel more of the way that right kidney is misaligned. So what you can feel is the tension back there, right?
Definitely.
So your kidney is misaligned posteriorly. So if you feel that, how much resistance your body puts to me bringing it anteriorly, visceral issues predominate. They were fight, flight, right? They're vital organs. So if they misalign, they will drain the body. The body will not prioritize healing until we get the organs in right alignment. And that's, you know, at first I look at this and I'm like, oh, that's nice and loose. And I'm like, it's too loose. Too loose.
Wow.
So we're going to check for comparison,
Okay.
we'll check out your left kidney. And what we're going to find is this is way looser, right? Back there.
Yeah, you feel that.
And here.
It's crazy. Never had someone feel my kidneys before.
And you know what? It's actually not loose, you know, but it's way looser than that side.
Yeah.
So you got better kidney tone on the left, but I'm not convinced that it's not misaligned. So we're gonna peel back the layers there because it's gonna be helpful. So okay, you can put your arm down wherever it's most comfortable. Okay. So and we're gonna raise that up. Okay. And then can I have you come down an inch?
Yep.
There. And let me know. Well, I think that's good.
Okay.
So next up, we've got to check intraorally.
Okay.
Right? So for that,
Intraorally.
check in the mouth. You've had
The
mouth
ancient
work.
phrase meaning inside the mouth.
Right.
Intraorally. All right.
Exploring the house within, the roof, the floor.
Okay.
So we're going to check all 7 frena.
Okay.
We're going to check lip muscles, cheek muscles. We're going to check pterygoids with the jaw muscles. Some of this you've had done, but my assessment's really thorough.
Yeah.
We're going to check it.
Okay, sounds good. Ugh.
So at any time, if you need me to take a break,
All right.
just go like that.
Okay.
It's hard to talk when I'm working in your mouth.
Okay.
So open up. I'm going to check your palate. And the front of the palate is called the maxilla. The back is the palatine bone. Right away, your tongue's trying to push me out of your mouth, right? So that's tongue thrust. And your palatine bone on the left and the right's misaligned. So there's not as much sponginess as there could be. But we'll come back to that. And we'll say now, your lip muscles, right? Your orbicularis oris muscles have some tension. Not a ton, but you can see it especially there. That tension right there. Okay, so let's check out your upper lip. And as you can see, that's a frenum, right? You know you have a frenum there. We have 7. Your upper lip has a little bit of scar tissue on it. Now, typically when I see this at 1 or 2 years old or something like that, you tripped and fell and it ripped open, and nobody knows that happened. Yeah. Most people don't know that happened. So you kind of had an unplanned, inadvertent upper lip release, as some toddlers do. Then if we go here, you don't have a cheek tie. That's not a buccal tie. It's buccal. It'll help you a little bit, and you can feel that. So So what we have here is there's a tongue tie.
Okay.
So an anterior tongue tie, tip of tongue. Yours is posterior tie, and actually the guy I work with in the Bay Area, but office is in Beverly Hills. Sarush Zaghi, head
Yeah.
ENT, one of the leading worldwide tongue tie surgeons.
Okay.
We were just co-speaking at that symposium, San Diego, and now we're going to call it, he's calling it, and it's in the field now, as a mid-tongue tie. Nobody knows that.
Mid-tongue tie,
A lot of
okay.
people will not know what you're talking about. If you say posterior tongue tie, people are like, oh, Ben, you know about tongue ties.
Yeah.
But you're ahead of the curve here, because talk about months to a year, it's going to be mid-tongue tie. That's
Okay.
more anatomically correct, because
Good to know.
it's not like the back of your tongue.
All over the newspapers. You heard it here first.
You're going to be
Mid-tongue
like,
tie.
Ben knows what's going on. But yeah, so 4 or 5 weeks in utero.
Okay.
That's when that happened,
Wow.
without a doubt. And it's why you have this twisting pattern of tension.
Wow.
But we got to do another assessment here on tongue mobility. So I have gauze. We'll wrap your tongue, gently stretch it, take it in all
Okay.
planes of direction, and see where the tightness is. Because
Okay.
even though you have a tie, we can see how much tension we can get out of that floor of the mouth.
Okay.
But we'll have another step before we do that. So
Okay.
I'll have you go ahead and stick your tongue out, as much of it as you can. We'll wrap your tongue. Here we go. Okay. What I'm going to do is make sure that while I'm doing this, we do not rub your frenum on your teeth. That is painful and agitating. And you can feel how tight that is, right? So we can stretch you to the right, not easy. Stretch your tongue to the left, not easy. Down, up, really tough. Up and to the right, down and to the left, up and to the left, down and to the right. Call that pluses and X's. It's evaluative and also releasing, but not yet, because that floor of the mouth is too tense. I already knew your right nostril was going to need body work, so the next step here is to check your nostrils.
Okay.
So we're going to check with your pinkies. Then we're not going to use your pinkies in your mouth.
Okay.
So just so you know,
Good to know.
that's the plan. So because that tension is so prevalent,
Okay.
that we're gonna follow the syntax of the body to see how we can release your tongue.
Okay.
But I know that your nostril might be part of it. So when I
Okay.
do this, the only thing that might happen is you might be tempted to sneeze.
Okay.
Just tell me, or I'll back out. I just don't want to block your sneeze because it's too much pressure for you. So
Okay.
you can just say, "Oh, about to sneeze," or wave, or we'll see.
Okay.
Oh yeah, so I can tell already that. Ooh, that is pretty narrow, that opening. We have, yeah, okay, so we'll just check. I'll be quiet for a moment. And I can tell as I stretch that zygomatic bone, we're widening and dilating the opening. Yeah, and we'll come back to that, but there's 3 bones in the nose that can release.
Wow. Okay.
And we're just gonna have you breathe in through that left nostril and out through the nostril. Okay, you can do it, it's there. Now we're gonna check this right side. And then out. A little tough?
It's actually easier to the right.
Is it? Okay. All right. So we're gonna have to shift that right side. Whoa, yeah, it's already easier. So releasing fascia on the left side in that turbinate actually cleared some of this tension. There. So we can just get in a little bit. I'm just going to go really easy going, because the slower I unwind this, the more lasting the effect will be. And also, yeah, this nasal bone is part of what's restricting it. There we go. Past the first concha. Boy, but that second is jammed, so I can feel... Yeah, it's coming from that slightly deviated septum. There we go, past the second concha. Now, good job. It can be, it can be sensitive, it can be intense, and this is good. I'll thank Dr. John Laurence for his preparatory work on your nostrils. There we go. Wow, that's good. That final one is opening. Wow. Okay, what I'm feeling here is a plateau. And if we reach a plateau and your body tightens, that's how I know it's done. and I need to let go because keep you regulated instead of dysregulated here. But it's opening more right there. Way to go. Way to breathe. You're doing really well. Not easy, but there it tightened. Okay, so we're going to slowly let go. That fully released.
Good.
Whew, way to go. All right.
Cool.
So now, next step is we, not with the pinkies, but with the fingers, check the floor of your mouth, okay?
Great. Thanks for using the pinkies.
We keep it clean here.
Salty pinkies.
All right, go ahead and open up, and I'm going to just feel that left side of the floor of the mouth. Nice. So there's a little bit easier time, right? Not enough, but there's a little bit looser tension there. Okay, so we're going to come, but that side's a little looser. Now, what we'll see the most change is right here. Your lips are a little looser. Still tension there. Okay, and yeah, that lip, you can, now you can almost cover your nostrils with your lip, right? That's the goal. Okay, okay. There's still more. So now we unwind that map in your body. I muscle test and intuit to see where is that floor of the mouth tension coming. I test these 4 categories. To start, I test, is it coming from muscle, fascia, bone, organ? Organ shows up. So then I can feel the energetic shift here, like right in that, it's like a burning sensation that goes down here, and it's coming from that right diaphragm. So yeah, right there, we'll free up that diaphragm. Good. That was pretty easy to loosen for the most part. It's that area. Then, there we go. Yeah, next up is your colon. Yeah, and as we kind of unwound it, and there's not really that left, sigmoid tension anymore, right? But it's found itself right now in the lower right quadrant, right there. So we're gonna free that colon tension right there. Is it okay for you? It's not too much?
That's fine.
Oh, good. And so I would say we're doing a little bit deeper visceral work than I might do if somebody's not experienced or hasn't had a lot of body work. So that gives you frame of reference, like this is deeper visceral work. A lot of people, I'm not going to need to get this deep.
Yeah.
It might be really sensitive for them, but you can feel that. So yeah, good. So that was a shift right there. Good. Okay. Now, I'm going to recheck the floor of your mouth.
Okay.
So I'll have you open up. Good, and you can feel that tongue's lifting a little easier. A little easier. Good. You have a lot to unwind though, because sometimes I release one part of the body, the nostril or the diaphragm, and that tongue elasticizes. I can tell you got a lot of built-up tension, but that's because you never had the kind of like intricate untangling, right?
Yeah.
So the first
timer, Neil. First timer.
First timer, Okay, so now it's the kidney. And that is this way. I'll release it, which is, we'll get your hand right there. And now I'm going to use a little paper towel. Try to keep my hands clean because I'll work in your mouth after this. So,
okay.
I can always put on new gloves, but we'll see. It's the way I'm used to working. And so what you can feel is that already. And yeah, I would say, whoa, yeah, I can tell. Yeah, we got a little bit of blood from the intranasal work. I just noticed it on my pinky. A little bit of bleeding.
Oh, yeah.
You're doing okay?
I'm fine.
Yeah? So both nostrils, we got some.
No blood, no foul.
Okay, so we're going to throw these gloves away. We don't want to reuse those, because I'll make sure we don't. All right, so we'll work with the hands. Now, that kidney has already shifted some, which is really cool, because right here, it's not as loose, and you're going to feel it, right? So we go up here, and you're going to feel less tension. And already you can feel that cage lift more easily, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that's a motile kidney. That kidney's moving better already.
Good.
But we're going to wiggle it free because there's still a restriction. Sometimes when we release the kidney, you can feel it go. and see it and hear it, but yeah, it's just melting. So in this case, it's just tension that's melting. There we go. There we go. All right. Okay. So that right kidney moving better, but the left kidney is stuck too.
Okay.
We got the double kidney special here.
That's right.
Okay. And it's not going to be as hard to release, even though that right side was pretty... There we go. It already released. Felt it subtly back here.
Good kidney.
Way to go, kidney. You know what's cool? In the Hebrew, the word for heart literally translates kidney reins.
I know.
Isn't it cool?
They worked a lot of that out of the modern day translations, though, because we decided that the seat of emotions being in the kidney didn't seem sexy enough, I suppose.
Yeah, and then we look at the kidney and what it mainly does, right?
Right.
Electrolyte balance, mineral
Exactly.
balance, blood
Yeah.
flow, blood filtration.
Yeah.
And the thing about the kidneys is, like, some
Highly
people...
tied to emotions.
And you know what sits on top of the kidneys? The adrenals.
Yep.
Renal is, kidney. Adrenal is...
Yep.
So what happens when a kidney misaligns? The adrenals come for the ride.
Yeah.
So I often see adrenal fatigue issues can come from kidney misalignments.
It's crazy.
Get that kidney
I never
shifted.
thought of that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Of course, I didn't know until tonight that the kidneys could be misaligned.
All right, so we're gonna find here is that, let's see, I'm gonna see if I need to do any more fascial work before we go back to the mouth. So I'm gonna test muscle, fascia, bone, organ. We'll check into the lymph system. We'll check into any of these toxin points here, deficiencies, parasites, virus. Okay, so EMF, motions, we'll check there. No, so I'm going to put on some new gloves. We're going
Okay.
to work back in the mouth to see what we've accomplished and or what needs to be done. And as soon as we see that floor of the mouth drop in tension enough, then I know that we've accomplished the systemic release of tension and allow us to get into better body work.
Wow, cool.
So this is kind of just like getting to a layer,
It's crazy.
and then we're going to be having some fun.
It's like an onion.
Definitely like an onion. Scallion, maybe, right? Don't have to cook a scallion, right? You can. Okay, so let's check. Go ahead and open up. And we're going to feel, one, that floor of the mouth tension, not nearly as tight as it was, because it's like easy for me to get my finger really low there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to go, right? Like, see that tongue lift? Definitely easier. It's a stretch, man. I'm not kidding. This is a tough one. You're a tough cookie, right? But it's because you've had this tongue tie for. Are you what? It's like 40 something.
42.
42. Okay, so for over 42 years.
Yeah.
You can feel how easy it is to. So this is not coming from me loosening up your lips. I'm
Yeah.
not working on your lips enough
Yeah.
to loosen it. So this is a systemic release, right? So you can feel.
Yeah.
That is cool. Now, your mentalis muscle is a totally different system. Has nothing to do with the floor of the mouth. It's weird, but by the work I've done, I've seen this has way more to do about the esophagus. So this is where we need to release your lower esophageal valve. Embryologically, I throw that word at you because crazily, when we develop in utero, the same cells that are our digestive system sprout our legs. So our legs' parents are the digestive system. And so often I find that in order to fully release the gut, we've got to release fascia in the leg, and on this case, it's your right leg.
It's crazy.
So I'm going to get some paper towel, always with the paper towel, so we can go here,
Okay.
and we can see what we need to release. And I'm definitely talking through it for a few reasons, right? But like sometimes you get a couple sessions in, and we're going to do this without words.
I don't know. It'd be a boring video if you weren't talking.
Right. My goal though is that while the video is catching stuff, this is what I do my first visit with everybody.
Yeah.
I'm talking through and narrating.
No, I'm learning a ton, honestly.
It's good.
Even if we weren't doing this for the viewing podcast audience, it's extremely interesting.
They're gonna see Ben's leg be able to move wider than it ever could before. So right now you can feel it, right? How much tighter does that esophagus get when we bring this leg out?
Yeah.
Right, and then how much looser does it get when we go here?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right, so we can't keep your leg there all the time. If you live like this, you'd be,
awkward.
Pretty awkward. Leg up all the time, reclining on the couch. That's not Ben. So we need to unwind the fascia to enable us to extricate this leg tension and adductor tension with this esophageal valve. And if the lower esophageal valve is not functioning well, or it's too tight, it could be that the enzymatic activity of the stomach and the esophagus isn't ideal, or it just is tight. We don't.
Yeah.
I'm not always going to be able to see the corollary between fascial tension and organ function, but a lot of times it's overlapping. So here we go. We can feel that tension has dropped a lot. So now when I bring your leg out here, barely pulls on it. It does, but that's because we need to work on your adductors separately. So we'll get back to that. So now let's see. We'll work our way down. Okay, so now in muscle testing you and positionally, I know we're going to get the next layer the best when I get you on your right side. So we're going to shift to you on your right side facing me this way.
Okay.
And then I know we're going to put your back to the camera, but hey, that's all good. So here, let's make sure we slide you a little further towards it. There we go. So for me, I often will jump onto this side to check a few things here.
Okay.
And first thing I'll do is positionally, we're going to check what happens with your kidneys when you get on your side. And they're good. Stomach, diaphragm, small intestine, and colon. They're good. Yeah, but now if I come up, we can feel how much tension there is on the esophagus. And that's coming from this hip. So, boy, that femur doesn't like moving.
Oh.
Especially right there, right? That posterior part of that femur does not glide. This way, all day, right?
Yeah.
We go that way. So now let's put your leg into flexion.
Okay.
And that's really easy.
Yep.
Now we get your extension going. And here's where you can feel, if your psoas, right there is too tight, right? Your quad's going to be too tight, and then that's going to pull the patella. So we're going to work on that when we get you back on your back, but I'll do a little freeing up of the psoas. There we go. But honestly, I could work on your psoas for an hour, and it's not the answer. Because if this posterior femoral capsule isn't working, that is going to protect your hip extension.
Interesting.
Because for you to go into hip extension, what happens there?
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Yep.
So have you ever had anybody work right in there?
Not that I can recall.
No.
At least it seems like a new sensation.
Yeah, and this we're getting into freeing the femur. Because there we go. You can feel it glide forward now. Right?
Yeah.
That's good stuff. So that's good, because that feels like once it released, it was way better. And now we're going to see that hip extension get a little better. And right there, we got elasticity.
Yay. You feel my back pop right there?
Yeah. Yeah, because, now that psoas can extend more, and that psoas goes into the femur.
Yeah.
L5, 4, 3, 2,
Yeah, something popped.
And now it's better at that esophagus, so that's good. Okay, so now we're going to get up to your arm here, and we'll check. Okay, not too bad there. Good. We'll check into, and boy, you can feel that subscap right there. Okay. Pecs. Well, yeah, those have probably been tight, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Now here we come back to that. I gave you that bookmark, right?
Yep.
That left
that brachialis.
medial bicep, right
Yep.
there. That, when you have tongue tie,
Yeah.
always left medial bicep is tight.
Really
Yeah.
interesting.
Babies to adults, I see this.
Wow, crazy.
So what we need to do, though, this is why this is all so restricted.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Huh.
And also, it's really interesting, but the, I'll say biohack because it's true. The biohack to freeing your left subscap muscle, teres, and your pec is to compress this left medial bicep. And when you do that, you can feel that tenderness, right? It doesn't work if you go like this and dig in. It only works when you compress it like that. Then you'll feel those striations of muscle let go. And when you get into all that all the way up, all you have to do is get about halfway up the bicep, and you go back and check, and you're going to see that scapula let go, right?
Wow.
And then you'll see the pec.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Jeez, it's crazy.
So,
Quick, huh?
for your pec, subscap, teres,
Yeah.
they don't like to be worked on directly.
Yeah.
It's like pummeling them, right? The finesse of working on that medial bicep will change this arm.
Wow.
And so now we're going to see that muscle tone, that rigidity, that sympathetic overdrive has left.
That's crazy. It's like a magic
right?
button.
It's like the magic button for Ben in the left people. So now we're just going to get a little bit of a pre-assessment into the pelvic movement and lower back, and then we'll see what, oh boy, yeah. So what you can feel here is that left ilium does not want to, it's just stuck, medially rotated.
Yeah.
So we've got to unhinge it. We'll get to that. 5, 4, 3, 2. That's all okay. It gets really tight when you get up here to the T12, which happens to be innervation to the kidney. So there's definitely a relationship there. But okay, so that's good. What we're going to do now is I'm going to have you roll to the other side.
Left side?
To the left side. There we go. All right. Good. And so we'll kind of similar flow. I'm gonna check this side and see what we have going on. Right away, you can feel not too bad right there, right? That femur glides.
Yeah.
Where we're gonna find the issue is right here. Boy, yeah, that femur, and then right on the anterior, superior side of that femur, that is binding up in that vastus lateralis. But we'll get back to that because we're going to see what else we need to do. So let's get this leg into flexion and see how that goes. Pretty good. And then I would say we'll see what this feels like. Yeah, the adductor is more the issue there. But if you can get up to here and you say, oh, the femur is freer on this side, but you get right into L5 right there. L4, L3. Now, obviously, I'm feeling very superficially. The psoas attaches deep to the spine, but we're checking the rippling effect of that tight fascia right there.
Yeah.
So the psoas on the right is actually more restrictive. And that's going to be important as well. Leave a footnote there. We're going to get that hand out. We're going to see what this motion is like. So we're going to see also is that right and both rectus abdominal muscles are pretty fired up, right?
Yeah.
If the psoas has been restricted, and it's going to be weaker, and if the psoas is weaker, then the abs take on the work of the psoas. They overfire. And not only does that affect the abs, but it tightens fascia up the midline, the intercostal for services, and it pulls this clavicle out of alignment.
Oh, wow. You said that right clavicle's out of alignment, huh? Yeah.
So now what you'll be interested to know, I hope, or we'll see, is that there's, we got to work up here and then down here and then back there. So on this right side, the difference is it's not the medial bicep, as you can feel. It's right on the middle main head, right?
Yep.
That's the one. That is like clockwork on.
What do you call it, the median?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, median. So right there. Whew. So if you were a baby, Ben, I would be working on this very gently. But this is one way you'd help babies nurse more successfully.
No way.
Is working on their right bicep, because often that fascial tightness goes into the clavicle, tightens the floor of the mouth, tightens the hyoid, doesn't allow the tongue to move well.
Has effects from micronutrient status and
absorption,
growth, absorption, your bioavailability.
Exactly.
Yeah.
CSF flow locks up when the tongue gets stuck.
Wow.
Because the tongue is a lever that pushes up on the palate. The palate.
I'm gonna be such a good grandpa knowing how to tell my kids how to take care of their babies.
That's right. Say, this guy named Neil said some stuff, and I think some of it's true.
That's right.
So we didn't work enough on the bicep. The reason I know is because that's still tight, right? And because it didn't free up enough tension in your clavicle. So now if we get right into that, it's going to be really uncomfortable for like 10 seconds or at least 5 compressions. 5, 4, 3, 2, and we need to traverse the cubital fossa to get right into there, right? That. Whew. Good. And we have to work on your arms a little later, but right now we're just trying to get your clavicle to move, and the clavicle is an accessory joint for breathing, meaning if your clavicle is not moving well, you can't breathe as well.
Wow.
And vice versa. It's also a major lymph source, right? The clavicle has a lot of lymph involvement.
Wow.
So here, but we got a lot better movement now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good news. So that's a good place to put a footnote, put a bookmark.
Yeah.
We got about 30 of those so far, but yeah, it's fascially bound right in there too. Wow. Yeah, I love helping people's feet. I love working on toes because, this first one is so tough when you have a predisposed, the stuff going on in that left glute and piriformis. You need toe flexion in order to initiate glute medius activity, right?
I think that's what a lot of people don't realize, like how important the big toes are to the hip extensors.
Oh, there we go. We got some mobility happening. And then I know that here there's a little bit of a metatarsal torsion that's going on. And that's really tough because, how hard is it to get between the metatarsals? It's tough, right? Because it's there's not much access. So what I have to do is just really get into compress and pull that metatarsal into rotation right there. And if we can do that, and then we can get right up to the proximal part of that, that joint, that's where it articulates with the ankle. And then we can really get that kinetic chain freed up some. And then we'll see. Yeah.
How much do you run into that with people, like just as much as mouth issues, foot issues being a thing?
How much? Sorry, what was that?
You run into foot issues a lot with people?
Yes.
Like as much as mouth issues?
Yeah, so many people. And you know how it goes. It's like, the question about like how often do I run into toe issues and feet issues as well as like the mouth, and inextricable. Like tongue tie and bunion is hand in hand, and so I'm the ones who have the tougher ties and more mouth restriction. It's always more work on their toes. So, and you probably have these, right? Correct toes. You've worn those silicone toe spacers before.
Oh yeah, I love those things.
Yeah. So that's really helpful for you. But with this tight fascia, that's not easy for it.
Yeah.
So you need this body work in order to disentangle those myofascial restrictions to where your body would want that separation.
Yeah. Makes total sense.
Yeah, so we're just really trying to disentangle as much as I can. Sometimes this is a layers thing, this is, but it's not always linear. So I'm going to see if I can get that tibia to drop just a little bit more. I think it's going to be good. So let's see. And this is a good place to say, okay, I'm going to let it sit for a little bit. We've done a lot with it.
Yep.
We'll give it some time to unwind a little bit more, and then we'll come back to it.
Cool.
Yeah, so now we can shift our attention to this right adductor And we can get into this some. And it doesn't need much because the tongue and the nostril, releasing that helped. But it's still, boy, yeah. Yeah, so what's really cool is, I don't know if you've heard much about the synchrony between the sphenoid and the pelvis.
No. Sphenoid and the pelvis?
Yeah, that head bone.
Yeah.
Under a functional MRI, they show that when you shift the sphenoid, simultaneously the pelvis shifts.
Wow.
Without touching it. That's the essence of craniosacral work, is when you shift the pelvis, you shift the cranial, and then when you shift to the sphenoid, you can shift the pelvis. So there's often, when yours has been bound up that much, you gotta work on all the above. Okay, so there's a good layer that we got right there. There we go. Okay, so then we're gonna get you a little bit of some movement, good. And then here's where we check. So yeah, like before, there was no movement here.
Yeah. No.
Better. Now we got some glide. But right there is where we get into the nitty gritty of where that. There we go. Okay, we got about 5 seconds. You're almost done. 4, 3, 2. Count a little slower because I need more time. 1, half, 0. Okay, good. Good. Patella's good. I'm good at dodging punches.
Yeah.
I've worked on enough MMA fighters to where when I work on their elbows, they think I'm going to do an arm bar, so I have to be quick.
Yeah.
Or, toddlers want to bite. That's right. By now, I've just figured out, if I can angle my finger in a certain way in the mouth, the teeth can't bite through the skin. So just had to work on that. Muay Thai boxers kick bamboo. I work on the teeth.
You can tell when you hurt the spot how much it's hurting, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Can you tell based on how the tension feels in the muscle, or can you tell based on how I'm breathing?
So for sure, breathing is a clue, but right away I feel that, and I know that's tough.
Yeah.
So I can feel it with the tissue texture, resistance, and then for sure I could see, and feel how you had to shift your breathing. Yeah, there we go. So that's definitely better than it was, but you can still hear this is happening.
Yeah.
That inversion. So we really need to get the talus and the tibia. There we go. Shift. There we go. Your calcaneus. Yeah, that was good. A little bit of that kinetic chain stretch right from the foot all the way up to the back. But here's what we're trying to do. See that? I won't shift yet. We're trying to free that fibula.
Yeah.
And it's here. If we can get it to shift there in the ankle, then it's going to really free up this part that's so hard to get to. There, a little bit. So now I'm doing another osteopathic cranial check. It's not about the head and the sacrum. It's really about flow of those cerebrospinal fluid channels. You can check it from the head to the feet or feet to the head. So when I check right here, this is blocked, right? It won't move.
Yeah.
So then if I check how far up does that go, it goes through the through line, of that calf muscle through the Achilles.
Okay.
We're going to see how far up it goes. Goes up into the right femur. Goes up into the L. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Visceral is good. If we check up to your occiput sphenoid. So as soon as I get to the sphenoid, feel how that lets go a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's telling me we need to release your sphenoid to free that foot.
Okay.
And what's nice is like we took care of some of these downstream tuggers, right? These limiters of dural tube tension. So your occiput glides like it didn't before, down through, even through C7. We haven't released that yet. T4, down through the thoracics, lumbars, a little stiffer, but we'll get that. So we come back up. Can I have you scoot up a few inches?
Yep. Towards you?
Yes, thank you. And so now we got to get to that sphenoid. Okay, so here. Yeah, on that right side is not moving right there. Left side, easy. Walk in the park. Gentle and breezy. But right there, we cannot. We have to do a little bit of. Now, craniosacral is gentle and loose. So all you watching, it's just easy for. No, I'm just kidding. I don't do craniosacral therapy when the sphenoid is this jammed. I want to bypass a multi-session experience. And this is where I dip into embryology and I go right into it's not that deep, right, Ben? But it's deep tissue freeing of the cranials. And when you do that, you can really unwind and pass through several layers at a time, which would normally take at least 3 sessions. So I try to get that done as much as, if you can, why not, right? So right now we're going to go in there. And we're just trying to unwind that right sphenoidal misalignment, which comes from tongue tie. But it's crazy because you could think you release the tongue, right? The floor of the mouth and the tongue, and that's the answer. It is not, because this has been so bound up for decades that it needs to be extricated like very specifically. There we go. Good. So now we have flexion happening and a better extension of the sphenoid. It's a simple little bone, but it's profound and it needs to flex and extend.
Wow.
All right, now let's see this foot. And now, I don't know if you can feel that. That foot can move.
Yeah. And that was weird when you were working on that sphenoid. It was almost like a little bit of an emotional shift.
Oh, yeah.
You ever get that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you feel?
Gosh. Maybe just like a little bit of almost like, maybe like a heart opening a little bit. Difficult to describe. But yeah.
That's good.
Maybe I'm still just kind of assessing what it was, but I felt something emotional happen when we were up there.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
like all of a sudden I could like hear better, and even though my eyes are closed, like it kind of became brighter inside my head.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, an endorphin shift is definitely a part of what I think happened.
Yeah.
It was more than that, Yeah.
More
than that, like you're saying, the heart. Yeah, let that ride. Just feel free to let that just percolate, and you can externalize it, or you can just let it go and just kind of explore it internally. But whatever. Yeah. Sometimes if we give space for that, it's really good to see what happens. So yeah. There we go. Okay, good. So that fibula finally came loose. A little bit more.
That's good.
Okay, now we're going to come back. So now that unlocked more, and now we're going to check the nasal bone. Okay. It's up, right below the frontal bone, and it's right there.
Okay.
Can I get you to scoot back a little bit? Up, sorry, up. You did it. You did the right thing.
I'm speaking your language now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so right there.
Mm-hmm.
So it is really helpful. There we go. Do you feel that shift?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's right over your heart, but more like the chest and the sternum that released the nasal bone. Yeah, good. Now if we get a little bit, that's good. Okay, good, better. Okay. Good. Here we go. Okay. So now we're going to recheck intraorally.
Okay.
See what we
That's what I was going to suggest.
Yeah. You're tracking it, right? Always come back.
I am tracking here. This is super fascinating.
That's cool. Maybe I'll have you come down a couple inches. Right?
I go through a lot of stuff like this, and this is actually one of the more interesting forms of fascia work I've encountered.
That's good.
So,
I'm glad we are getting to these layers.
It reminds me a little bit when I went down and interviewed those guys at the Human Garage in LA. But,
Yeah.
with a little bit more of like a kind of like a chiropractic and organ piece thrown in.
Yeah. All right, let's have you open up. Now what's nice is that you have these palatine bones. They're spongier, right? They can lift more easily. That's good because the palatine bones are the floor of the nose. So if the palatine bones move easily, the nostrils will work better. And yeah, we have good dropping of that tension of the floor of the mouth. I know this is tender, but now we can actually lift it. We couldn't before. This is good. So there's a layer there. Now the next layer is to get these pterygoids to finally let go. And so for that, let me get you up a little higher. Let's go there. So let's have you open wide. There we go. Good. And then again a little bit more. There we go. Okay, good. Now, this is a side I'm really excited about the potential of it loosening more.
Okay.
Let me get the right. I just want that right position. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the pillow. That's gonna help us out here. There we go. We'll drop this down. Well, I just put it back right where it was. That's good. Testing it out. There we go. So now we'll get back into the check the pterygoid. And we're going to find more elasticity than before, which is nice. Good. And then we're going to have you open wide. Good. Yeah. See, before we couldn't access that. It would have been mean if I would have dug into that. But now it's actually supple, and we can help it loosen up. Yeah, good. We're going to trace that pterygoid muscle down. I like to say for the kids, it's the pterodactyl muscle that I learned. There's no such thing as a pterodactyl anymore. It's called a pterosaur. There we go. Good. Okay, and now we're going to go right there and have you open up a little bit more. Good. Great. Good job. Doing all right? That was a tough one.
Yeah, that was intense.
All right. Okay. So now we're going to come back to checking occipital glide. And we'll see. Good, we'll check it down through the cervicals. C7. Okay, so it's coming back to us that I need to release that. So I'm going to do that here.
Okay.
And so we're going to lean you this way and just right there. There we go. Good job. All right, now we're going to recheck that tube tension, dural tube tension, and we're going to go right past that C7 in a nice way, but it's getting stuck right at the first rib, right in there. I didn't feel that, so it's subtle. Good, so let's just let everything relax. Good. A little bit there. We're going to get in a little bit more. There we go. Okay. We'll recheck the occiput. Good. And we'll go dural tube tension down. We bypass the C7 and T1 rib. Now we go to the ras. Oh yeah. So now we have that. Thoracics to help. Yeah. So hug adjustment, right? You hug you. You deserve it.
I hug me.
You hug you. You deserve
love
it.
me.
You love
Okay.
yourself.
There we go.
Now you let go and relax,
Okay.
and then I'm just going to lift up. I'm going to do a few adjustments like this. Good. All right. Okay, good. Some of those we're ready to release really easily. Now we're going to roll you just a little bit this way,
Okay.
and we're going to check on that rib right there.
Okay.
Let's keep you hugging. I'm going to do that a little differently.
Okay.
So I'm going to pick you straight up. A little bit there. Oh, I can tell. Boy, got some tension, huh? Okay, so now we're going to have you hug you the other way.
Okay.
Love yourself in many ways, Ben.
Okay.
I'm going to roll just your upper body this way. Ooh, good. Yeah, I can tell a couple layers of deep myofascial work,
Yeah.
and we would get all these areas to release way more deeply. I like to say you're one and done, but you're an onion. You're multiple onions in one.
A big old onion.
Yep. Yeah, some of those are on the precipice of releasing. So yeah. So there. Now we'll recheck your abdomen. Good. Move through some of that gas. There we go. But your abdominal tone is way better, meaning your kidneys are at a way better place.
That's good.
So that's good. Yeah, small intestine, colon. So there's still more to do up here. Let's see. And you can put your arms down.
Okay.
So we got to check here. Mentalis muscle. So for the mentalis, we've got to so we'll see in the core here. We'll check areas called perseverance, clarity, identity, intuition, instincts. So it's showing up. There's 3 wheels I see in the body on people. I got this through a download.
Okay.
Talking with God. He was like, hey, I see 3 wheels on people. Neil, I want you to codify them. When it's up here, it's in the spirit or intimacy. When it's here, it's in the heart. That's the second wheel. When it's here, it's in the core, but we're talking the immaterial core that happens in the first 5 years.
Okay.
And I see 5 aspects, and I named them, right? I see perseverance, identity, or perseverance, clarity, identity, intuition, instincts. And for instincts, that's when it shows up, that there's a blockage or something there.
Okay.
So I'll see, and it attaches to your mentalis muscle. That's not on everybody. This is for you, what happens to be appearing. So I'll sort of sift through here and might ask you questions. And if you feel like, oh yeah, that makes sense, we'll be tracking. If you're like, well, I don't know, and or I don't know, or it doesn't make sense, or I don't want to go there, you just tell me, okay? So we'll just see. So instincts, and I usually see that in the first 5 years. So we go 0, 1, 2, 3. 3 years old, and who knows? It could be really simple, really small, but we'll see if it was, more about fear. No, that's not here. So if it was an instinct, just like a self-protective mechanism. So maybe that was, could have been a fall. I'm just going through these things, and either you will say yes, or I will feel the resonance on it, and we'll see this let go. So
Sounds good.
It's not.
I don't remember jack squat from when I was
Right.
3.
So that's the thing. Your body will release.
Yeah.
If it does, we'll know we're on the right track. If it doesn't, then we'll say, okay, dead end, and I'll let go. So we'll see if there was an obstacle due to something like falling. No, it's self-protective mechanism was just. And there's also this area where it can come in through our senses. It can come in through these, our gates, right? Like our senses, there are gates. So we'll test whether it was a seeing thing, hearing, smell, taste, touch. See if you touch something hot. Then you probably don't remember that even if you did, but did you burn yourself? Was there any thing where your parents said you burned yourself at 3?
I have no clue.
No clue. Okay, that's all right.
Yeah.
I mean, you grew up where there was a lot of bonfires, right? Did you guys do a lot of fires, campfires?
Occasionally, I guess.
Occasionally.
Yeah.
Was it in your yard you had a place to do that?
I don't remember.
Where'd you grow up mainly?
Lewiston, Idaho.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have any yardage, an acre or something?
When I was older, yeah. When I was
Okay.
maybe 10, we moved out in the countryside. We had about 6 acres out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's just say maybe there's something there, maybe there's not.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is see if anything we talked about and we've uttered aloud in the conscious realm shifted any of this tension.
Cool.
If it did, mission accomplished. We don't
Great.
really need to dig any deeper. So what I see is some, right? That's moving somewhat better. And let's see if there's any more. There's nothing else here in this realm to deal with. There's nothing in your emotions or heart or that wheel. There's nothing here. But it's not just physical. So is it light sensitivity, fascial, muscle, bone, organ? And then are you at all feeling shaky, jittery? Okay. And is your tongue dry at all?
No.
Good. Okay. All right, so let's check back in here. The main goal is if this loosens up, we will have accomplished what we need to. Definitely freer here on that left side. But there's still a restriction there in that cricothyroid cartilage on the left side. There we go. If we free that up, I think that is the strand that needed to let go for that mentalis muscle. There we go. Good. Let's check it again. And I'll say, yeah, it's better. Again, that might be a layers thing. So we'll let that be for now. And then we'll just see if we've got any more. Yeah, that tongue's a lot easier to lift than when we started. So that's good news. Good.
Cool.
Okay, so now we definitely have some layers to do in the chair. So I'm just going to see if that's the right move here. I think that's probably the next place we need to go. Yeah. All right, so let's get you up and get you over the chair. And so we'll kind of see what's left to do, and that we typically always end in the chair. See how everything integrated. Your sphenoid is moving a lot better, right? So that's really good news. Your parietals are moving a lot better. You've got your cranials gliding. You could feel that there was a lot to do right here, right, when you're lying down. So that's better. That's the vertex, right? That's the conjunction of a lot of the cranial bones. Definitely better in the temporal bones. Now here's where we find good lateral flexion, better lateral flexion there too than before, right?
Yeah.
So now here you can feel we actually have space in front of the occiput, right? We can glide it back better. But then you can find, like, right, it starts to tighten up. So that's C1. Now, if I was just, back in the day doing, awesome, beautiful, but standard chiropractic, what would I do? I'd adjust that atlas, right? That C1. So
you crackle and pop, baby.
So he wouldn't carry the burden of, the world on your shoulders anymore. But I know right underneath that common C1 issue is the hot throat bone. That throat bone's pulling that C1 out of alignment. So in order to do this, I get right in here betwixt the tissues. So what I'm telling you that is because if I get on a vessel and you start to get dizzy, just let me know. I'll let go.
Okay.
The goal is to not have you pass out. However, I brought a lot of people back to consciousness. Experience. One thing I want to make sure is you get your body back. Better than ever. New and improved. But yeah. Good. So I feel like all that is moving really well. The last thing I want to check here before the ears is the nasal bone. That's better. So I'm going to say, now, one thing we see here is, though, your lateral flexion in the nasal bone is not as good. See how easy that the nasal bone's a little tiny bone, but it laterally flexes, which is crazy because while I call the tongue like a rudder of the body, the nasal bone is very much like a navigator. It's like the weather vane. So it is really important for you to be able to fully flex laterally at that nasal bone to keep your airway open with the nostrils. There we go. Okay, so now we'll check your ears. So yeah, that left side's moving too well, right? Too well, right? So have you had your ears adjusted?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think so.
So I've learned to adjust.
Crazy massages in Thailand, but I don't...
Jared Whalen, it's somebody my brother and I know. Chiropractic college, ran up behind me, went, whew, adjusted my ear. I'm like, whoa, what was that?
Crazy.
Graduated, studied a little bit from a chiropractor who did it. But a Romanian monk was the one who taught me how to adjust all four sides of the ears.
Darn Romanian monks.
They know everything, right? So to adjust your ear, I'm going to stretch and pull, and you're going to feel it go.
Okay.
And that's the little gas releasing, but it's also the inner ear. There we go. And so now you can feel the difference, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Now you can feel how tight that is.
Very subtle, but
yeah.
kind of cool.
So we're going to release this upper. There we go.
Oh, wow.
That's good. So now that's good. Not only is it good, it's like some people who have vertigo, it stops this on a dime.
Wow.
It can stop that on
Crazy.
a dime. But yeah, right there you got a lower lobe restriction. So that one's a little different. We're going to go here, there.
Oh, wow.
Good.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Actually feels pretty good.
Good. Yeah, I love it. It's one of my favorite things to do. So I have to do it on myself because I don't know anybody that adjusts all four. There we go.
Wow.
Woo!
That's a cool adjustment.
Equilibrium and balance. And sometimes, like this 80-year-old, I released that on him, and he's like, Neil. He's a welder.
Yeah.
Did all this stuff. He's like, you'll never believe it. And I was like, what? The ocean stopped in my ear. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I didn't tell you, but like for the last 4 years, I've had the ocean sound constantly in my ear. And you'd think that'd be nice, but it wasn't because it was always there. So
not all the time.
Yeah. Okay, so that's good, definitely. And let's just see, now discerning what, if there's anything else that I need to unlock for today, knowing that I cannot possibly release everything because it's not good for you to get everything released all at once. It's just a question of if that atlas needs to adjust. And I think it can, so we'll do it gently here. So we'll lean you this way, right? So we'll just wiggle you, lean you a little bit, but actually it moves too much on its own, so that tells me it's actually a fascial restriction. That's kind of what I wondered. So we're just going to follow it. Yeah, right there. Follow it through. It's not comfortable, not pretty, but there. One more. There we go. Good, and that just unwound, so it's cool. Good. There. Okay. All right, well.
Wow.
There you are.
Awesome. Dude, that was incredible.
Whew.
Wow. Well, for people who are still watching, bengreenfieldlife.com/Neil is where I'm going to pull all the show notes for this, and obviously a lot of information to soak up, and yeah, I'm still reeling from all that, but it's pretty incredible, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad.
You're like a diamond in the rough. Yeah. Unicorn. That's pretty cool, though. Man, never had something like that before. I've done a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I dig it.
I'll give you a
I
hug.
dig it. Dude, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.